I'm here to talk about for sale by owners. This is a longer video, but if you're thinking of pursuing for sale by owner as a seller or you're pursuing it as a buyer, it is worth watching to the end, maybe saving this video for later. I'm currently working with some buyers that I represent, and we are under contract on a for sale by owner property. And I've done this many times before, and I will tell you that every single time it has been unnecessarily difficult and the closing has been delayed. From a selling perspective, if you've listed your home for sale by owner and you're not getting the activity that you expected and you're trying to save on commission, which I understand, I'll tell you a few things. One, statistically, you net more money when you sell with an agent who markets your home well. This is not just BS that I'm saying. It's because when your home is listed with a good agent, you're getting a lot more eyes on your property and you have competition. Competition is the thing that drives up price. When you're listing for sale by owner, you're reaching a very small pool of buyers, and you're also not really reaching those buyers that are so important, which is the 90% of buyers who are working with a buyer's agent. So one, you don't have the competition, you don't have the exposure. And then two, this is the part that's important. Buyers are working with agents. They're working with agents because that agent is representing them, guiding them through the process, helping them with inspections, connecting them with a lender, helping them through the appraisal process. And I have had so many transactions. Almost none of them are smooth. I think I have about 1 out of 30 transactions is smooth, but they always have major bumps. And we are professionals and we're designed to get over those hurdles, to not be emotional about the process, and to be problem solving every step of the way. In my experience, in my colleagues' experience, this is not the case for sale by owners. They often become frustrated, unresponsive, maybe a little bit hostile towards the agent because they didn't really like agents to begin with. They just don't understand the process. So as a buyer's agent, I am always doing twice the work. I'm doing a lot of coaching with that seller. I'm trying to educate them along the way because they don't have their own representation. I'm definitely doing the problem solving. Like, my husband and I are going onto a house today to open up the attic hatch because the seller didn't do it. And it's just very frustrating to not be working with a professional. It's not about the for sale by owner person. It is a stressful process. It's your home. It's your biggest financial, asset. I get that, but we want to be working with professionals. I do know some realtors who just will not, as part of their business, will not work with for sale by owners. Like, they won't bring their buyer and guide their buyer in the process of pursuing a for sale by owner. That's a really hard position to be in because we want the best for our clients, but wanting the best for our clients also means that we don't want the extra liability. We don't want them to be purchasing a home where all of the material defects and issues with the home aren't disclosed, which for sale by owners don't. We are doing twice the work and having extra liability. For instance, I had some wonderful buyers. We looked at a lot of homes. The home they really loved was a for sale by owner property. I loved the home too. I was really excited about it, and the seller was very nice. I thought it would go well. Well, it didn't. We wrote an offer. He didn't understand a lot of the aspects of the offer in terms of lender requirements, appraisal timelines, and that was tricky. We then, in that process of kind of waiting for him to reply, which was just dragging on and on, I was digging in to understand more about the property and discovered a crude oil pipeline that had been abandoned on the lot. He didn't want to discuss it with me at all, so I did hours of research on that. We also discovered there might be some issues with the septic. All to say that it was very risky for my buyers, for the whole process, and they ultimately decided that they just didn't feel comfortable pursuing that property. Buyers are working with agents. Agents are not psyched about doing this. First off, we're having to negotiate our compensation. We might not get paid. And we work really hard. We work really hard in this process. And we don't get paid until the deal closes. So for sale by owners are more likely to fall apart. Every one of mine has been delayed for things that could have been prevented. And it's just very important to be reaching those buyers who are working with agents. Those are your best buyers too. They're the most qualified. They've been coached in the process, and it's just going to be a lot smoother. I sold my house for sale by owner before I was a realtor. I was really excited about it. I wanted to save money. That was the biggest reason. But I ended up losing money, and I see this all the time now. I listed my home for too high. I got pretty close to what I had asked for it, but the buyer had a great agent, and we actually ended up later on going to that agent to have him help us purchase a home because he was so great. But he was a very good negotiator, and I was not at that time, and we also didn't understand our leverage that we had or didn't have. We didn't have enough exposure, so we only had one buyer. If that home had been listed, if I listed that home today or then, we would have had a lot more buyers lined up. So we would have had more power to negotiate, which we didn't. We had to bring the price down in the under contract period, and it was okay in the end, but we lost like $50,000. So, I wouldn't do that again. And that is what I see, going on with for sale by owners these days. So if you're listed on the market, I might reach out to you because I do reach out to for sale by owners as part of my business practice, because I know that statistically they do end up listing with an agent most of the time, and I want to be that agent. So I reach out to them. If you are trying to sell this way and you're not having success, it's not you, it's not your home. It's just how the business, the industry works. It's how your home is marketed, the exposure, the number of buyers that you're coming in, and professionals want to work with professionals.